1,000 hopefuls applied for places on this, the third marathon, showing what a heady cocktail this combination of competition and nostalgia has become. But they obviously couldn't all charge around the roads of Europe, so the entry was whittled down to just 130. The motorsport pedigree was richer than ever, including the best-known name of them all, Stirling Moss, still recovering from his recent motor scootering accident. Former Grand Prix star Clay Regazzoni, paralysed in a Formula One accident, had an Alfa fitted with hand controls. Imported for the occasion was 3 times Indianapolis winner Bobby Unser, who shared his nation's confusion about the Thames crossings.
Feeling really good. It's a beautiful day. Here we are sitting on the bridge. What is it, London Bridge or whatever?
But as any enthusiast this side of the water would know, the traditional starting point for the classic marathon is always Tower Bridge. Another overseas star, here demonstrating the Big Heeley, was twice Le Mans winner Gilles van Lennep. But soon emerging as the man to be reckoned with on this event was Paddy Hopkirk. Round the bollards at Liddon Hill, he showed he'd lost none of his old skills at making the mini torque. Paddy was leading as the cars arrived in France, but it was another former rally driver who took control of the boat.
Do you want a few pace notes? Stand by for ramming.
My chauffeur on this trip, Roger Clark, was not only a great rally driver, but also an accomplished powerboat racer in his heyday.
Start slowing the ship down.
The first night of the week-long event was spent at the historic town of Ypres, before tackling special stages on the closed public roads of Belgium. There were 13 special stages on the whole rally, timed to the second, where you drive as fast as you can against the clock. Obviously a piece of cake for experts like Moss and Hopkirk in their specially prepared cars, but some venerable machines were being pushed beyond their limits by lesser mortals. Although a school of thought suggests old cars should be used and not left in museums, I can't imagine this splendid old MG Magnet expected such treatment in its retirement. Just like the old days, the co-driver has to get out to clock in at every control. Some drivers make it more difficult than others. Stirling Moss's co-driver, Chuck Shields from Chicago, had never been on a rally before. Although he was learning fast, there were still a few teething troubles. How had this stage gone?
Not good at all, not good at all. Wrong slotted.
You went the wrong way, somewhere, huh?
Yep.
Mercifully, there are few accidents in historic rallying. When they do happen, they can be expensive, as in the case of this Aston Martin DB4 which overturned at Spa. Whether major or minor, all servicing has to be performed by the drivers themselves, at the side of the road, or in car parks, or wherever they can find. And that includes wheel changes. In contrast to rallying today, you're only allowed 2 spares, and you have to carry them yourself. But enthusiasts can pop up in the most surprising of places, as John Woolley and Nick Wright found when their gearbox gave up the ghost.
We bumped into someone with the transports expert who knew someone who might have a gearbox that we could use. We also knew someone who might keep his garage open all night for us. He did have a gearbox, he did keep his garage open all night for us, we just got it.
Another day, another country, and the convoy was in Germany. The marathon organisers included Oberemmel, a fast special stage used regularly in German rallies. For Roger and I, it was nearly the end of the road. We sailed off on a greasy bend and spent the best part of an hour languishing in a ditch, and our third place was gone. We were still in the game, but our chances of victory were over. But it was the end for courageous Clay Regazzoni. Some meticulous marshals gave him a huge time penalty, and he decided to call it a day. The main job in hand, of course, is to tackle the famous Stelvio Pass, with its 48 hairpins climbing 10,000 feet in just 8 miles. Paddy Hopkirk and Alec Poole in their replica Mini Cooper S could do no wrong. They had held the lead since the word go, but Stirling Moss was in hot pursuit. For a 60-year-old man on crutches, he was driving magnificently and took 20 seconds off Hopkirk. And up into third place, even faster up the hill than Stirling, was MG wizard Ron Gammons. Not that it's all that difficult, for the Stelvio is really a predictable point and squirt operation. There are just a couple of difficult bends, which can catch out some of the less well prepared. Fastest of all was Unser in the Jaguar. This was real Unser country, and the 14 times winner of Pikes Peak hill climb in the States rocketed up the hill nearly a minute faster than anyone else, scattering other cars in his wake.
Nothing ever makes me drive harder than I do. I drive hard all the time. Bobby Unser's never been known for driving easy when it comes time to go fast. I'm paid to go fast.
But sometimes a driver's exuberance needs to be tamed. Complete with our hold exhaust, we're spluttering into what's called a regularity section. The object is to maintain a slow average speed as accurately as possible. The start marshal tells you the target speed, and by deft use of calculators, stopwatches and speed tables, you try to keep to it. Penalties for being early or late are as important as those on the special stages. It's a chance for the co-drivers to prove their mettle. 5 days into the marathon, and it's Cortina in northern Italy. Paddy is still in the lead, but feeling nostalgic.
Feels just like 25 years ago, and you know, it may not be the same for the people down the back. The nice people down at the back are probably having much more fun, but actually we're having fun in a different way. But it's very competitive, it really is. It's dog eat dog.
The whole idea of this event is not to just take part, it's much more fun winning, and we're all trying to win. I think frankly we're banging our head against a brick wall with Paddy unless he has trouble, because there's no doubt that he drives extremely well. He's got a very good helper with Alec, and the car's quick, so I don't think we can do that, but we're going to try.
These top drivers would be competitive even if they were playing Scrabble. One of the great things about the Pirelli Classic Marathon is that it brings together the expert driver and the ordinary enthusiast. It means great camaraderie and the chance to compete against the great names of the past. But some fear that this could be the undoing of the sport if it encourages enthusiasts in what are, after all, old and often less well-prepared cars to compete too fiercely. Even on the public road sections, with a relatively relaxed time schedule, the pressure is still on, and accidents can happen, even to the best.
Well, we were in a small town, and I met a bus, and we didn't hit very hard, but we hit. It was just total stop. I mean, we could have had 3 or 4 lunches while we were there.
By the final day, Ron Gammons, assisted by former world-class co-driver Paul Easter, had clawed his way into second place, narrowly ahead of Sterling Moss. Handley was safe in 4th, and Minis were well sprinkled through the top 10. But Paddy Hopkirk and Alec Poole managed to keep ahead of the rest, despite climbing into the clouds for the final test on the Tre Cime. For the veteran Irishman, whose name is still amongst the best known in Britain, this classic event showed that he'd lost none of his magic 30 years on. At the start of the Tre Cime, Moss was in 3rd place. He too showed he'd lost none of his skill as he piloted the MG accurately through the gathering clouds. It was nail-biting stuff. He was a full 8 seconds faster than Gammons, who'd had an incident in the mist, but he couldn't quite close the gap. Ow! He finished in 3rd by just 3 seconds. The look on his face showed it all. Even with our spell off the road, I eventually made it to the finish despite Roger's last-minute attempts to turn it into an obstacle race. We made 7th place and took the shared team prize. Altogether, a splendid way to spend a week.
It is a nice event, you know. I mean, the amount of help we've had from the other people is immense. I can't tell you. We've made mistakes. I mean, there's no 2 ways about it. And guys have helped us find the way, helped us with fuel. And that, to me, is what the rally is all about. It is, you know, friendship and yet competition.